G'day everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another one of my EV realist videos. In this series I attempt to put a more realistic view of the transition to EVs as opposed to the wildly optimistic views that are currently being spruiked by our various governments around the world. So if you like this kind of content, it would be great to have you as a subscriber. So you've done your bit to save the planet, bought a shiny new EV, and now you're thinking that life will just be plain sailing with just the occasional bout of mild range anxiety to worry about. Well, you couldn't be more wrong. Every second of every day, that expensive $20,000 battery is just itching to degrade and turn your EV into a living nightmare of depreciation. Given how much it costs, it's a remarkably fragile piece of kit and constantly needs to be cosseted and coddled, or else if you look at it the wrong way, it will knock another 5% off its already outrageously optimistic range. So there are a whole bunch of ludicrous rules that EV owners must follow, all taken from genuine advice, to postpone the inevitable battery degradation, and I've helpfully translated them for those of us who drive regular cars. You're welcome. Overcharging or draining the battery. Never let your battery sit at 100% charge. Generally speaking, lithium-ion batteries do best when they operate in the 30% to 80% charge range. Continuously charging to full capacity is stressful on your battery. If you don't need the maximum charge, don't use it. Conversely, leaving your battery in a low level, below 30% charge state for an extended period may also impact its life. So despite having an 80-litre fuel tank, you can only use half of it. Don't let your fuel drop below 24 litres or fill it above 64 litres, otherwise you'll find that over time your fuel tank will weirdly start to get smaller in capacity, which is permanent and irreversible. If you need a full tank for a trip, make sure you only fill it up right before you drive it, no matter how inconvenient that might be. Not balancing the battery. While you may never take long trips that need the absolute maximum range, a periodic maximum charge is helpful to your battery's management system. A quarterly maximum charge may be beneficial to the lifespan of your EV battery. Despite the previous nonsensical rule, for some reason you need to fill up your tank to the brim once every 3 months. Failure to do this will also hasten the inevitable ultimate demise of your fuel tank. Overusing DC quick charge. Use of DC charging should be minimized in order to help prolong battery life. It is theorized that frequent use of fast charging, more than once or twice per day, will cost you about 1% of capacity per year, which basically means very frequent users of fast chargers can expect performance on the lower end of the normal range. Level 2 AC charging is recommended to keep the battery in optimal condition. Level 2 chargers are the most efficient home charging option and are also the most common to find at free charging stations around town. Providing 240 volts power, it takes 6 to 14 hours to fully charge an EV, or 4 to 8 hours for a PHEV. Skipping over the ultimate irony of EV owners being told not to use fast chargers for a minute, don't ever fill your tank at full speed except in extreme emergencies. Squeeze the trigger just a tiny bit so the fuel just dribbles in, otherwise you'll find your tank starting to permanently reduce in capacity again. Ideally, always use special slow fuel pumps that take anywhere from 6 to 24 hours to fill your tank. You can just install a special slow fuel pump at your house to fill up overnight. Improper storage. The capacity of an EV battery may decrease over time when the vehicle is stored long-term in high temperatures. It will also decrease in low temperatures, even when left for a short period. If you can, store your EV inside, away from extreme temperatures. Don't leave your car out in the heat or in the cold. In other words, park it under cover somewhere, or else you will again find that the next time you drive it, the capacity of your fuel tank will have infuriatingly and permanently gone down. Drive slower. Avoid accelerating unnecessarily. Accelerating requires more electricity than simply maintaining your current speed, so you should try to avoid acceleration wherever possible. Driving slow is best for your battery, but this isn't always practical. Similarly, avoid abruptly decelerating to minimize energy consumption that can drain your battery. Try to avoid steep inclines and drive smoothly to get the most out of each charge. If possible, try to avoid motorways or other areas that require driving at high speeds. In general, be mindful of where and how you're driving to optimize your battery life. This is my absolute favorite. If you drive too fast or accelerate too quickly, or even brake too quickly, you'll find that the next time that you fill up your tank, it will be slightly smaller than it was before, permanently and irreversibly. And this will happen every time you break this rule, despite how utterly ridiculous it may seem to have to agonize about your driving style every second of every trip. Let your battery cool before charging. If you've given your EV a good run, it's best not to charge it the moment you stop. It's better for the battery to let it cool down before plugging in. If you've been driving all day and you are low on fuel, you need to wait around for 30 minutes doing literally nothing to let it cool down before putting fuel in. Otherwise, your tank will do the magic shrinky thing again. Inconvenience is no excuse. Is cold weather bad for EV batteries? Who says charging an EV in frigid weather can not only shorten the lifespan of its battery, it can actually damage it, especially if your car has been parked outside? He suggests driving around to warm up first instead of charging your vehicle from a completely cold state. Don't ever put fuel in your car when it's cold. Make sure you drive around pointlessly for at least half an hour before filling up, no matter how awkward this may be. Otherwise, you guessed it, shrinky shrinky. Well, I hope that's cleared it all up. If you want to ensure that your fuel tank remains at its original manufacturer's capacity, make sure you obey all these rules, or else you'll wake up one morning and find that your tank has completely disappeared. Well, thanks very much for watching. Now you know exactly what it's like to own an EV without actually having to own one. I really hope you enjoyed it. Drop a comment down below, let me know what you think. You can send me tips to Instagram or by email. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.